So let me just share my screen. Okay. So I'd like to welcome everyone to this wellness presentation that I'd like to do today. And it's regarding a company called LifeVantage that is at the forefront of something called nutrigenomics, which I will explain as we get further into it. But we are looking at science that is geared towards lengthening not just our lifespan of living longer, but also living healthier as as long as we live. So before I get started, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. So my name is Megan McNally. I am a certified traditional naturopath and also a Pro 4 in the LifeVantage company. And I have spent years of my life wanting to find out the best ways to naturally help people be as healthy as possible. And like I said, have a very long health span. And I love natural remedies. I love herbal remedies. I love having things natural instead of synthetic, not being on something chronically all the rest of your life, but giving the body the best natural tools it can to be able to function how it should, because I believe the body can take care of itself and will. I've seen it many times. And that when it has the right tools, it functions really well. And I believe that every person matters, that I want to share this information with everyone because it is amazing. So I hope that it'll be a blessing to you today. So getting started, when I was completing my degrees in naturopath, I had a lot of people in my life that I felt were doing everything right. And it was frustrating that they were they were doing everything with their lifestyle that I could possibly think of, but they still weren't feeling their optimum and their best. And even doctors were saying, there's nothing more that we can do for you. So in situations like that were starting to come up in my life with people, I was trying to figure out what's the missing link and puzzle to health. Is there something more that, is out there? And at that time, a friend of mine came to me with this health information, and it actually was very mind-blowing because the science behind it is quite in depth, and there's so many studies and research that I felt like this could be exactly what I was looking for. So I started telling my friends and family about it, and they started to feel so much better. They were starting to be able to do more with their life and just be more active, less aches and pains, less problems during the day than ever before. And even for myself, at the time when I got started, I have had a healthy lifestyle. I really felt like it probably wasn't going to help me exactly, other than just help anything in my future not come up. So just maintaining my health and my cells. And I was really surprised that my back pain that I had from an old injury years ago actually got so much better, where I could do dishes for more than like 30 minutes or vacuum and do different things without a huge amount of pain that I had before. So with this information, I want you to understand exactly how it works, because it's not as complicated as it may sound. And going down to the nitty-gritty of how our body works, we have so many cells. Every single cell it, it composes each organ. You can't have an organ in our body without being completely constituted by a cell. And every system in the body, whether it be respiratory or skeletal muscles or our brain, they're all run by our organs. So if you have something going wrong in your eyes, it means that there's something going wrong somewhere else. They're not detached from each other. They're all completely together in how they run. So if there's a toxic overload, or if there's a dysfunction in one area, everything else is also dysfunctioning. So we're going to talk about 3 things that deal with health. They're very major areas of health. They're called free radical and mitochondria and sirtuin theories of aging. And when we talk about aging, we're also talking about just the dysfunction of cells as they start to get more dysfunctional. That's when our body is starting to get more dysfunctional as well. So we want our cells functioning how they should. And there's actually, in the human cell, hundreds of pathways that run various functions of the body. And those pathways that we're going to be talking about are 3 of them, called NRF2, NAD, and NRF1. And we're just going to briefly cover some information about them. But when these pathways get dysfunctional, that's when the cell gets dysfunctional. So the first one we'll talk about is called NRF2, and it deals with the free radical theory of aging. Everyone's heard of free radicals, and they produce something called oxidative stress. And with oxidative stress, there's so many things that cause it. We have things in our diet, fast food, if you don't have enough activity or exercise, you get oxidative stress, even stuff that we're exposed to. We have so many pesticides in our area that are now being sprayed and we're breathing them. That causes oxidative stress. Not enough fruits and vegetables. Sometimes even exercising too much, we get oxidative stress. Stuff that we're breathing from fumes from cars, EMFs that are increasing now to 5G. I mean, there's so many different things that lead to oxidative stress, and you can actually research more about it. But when we have oxidative stress in our body, it means that our cells weren't able to keep up with the free radicals that were coming at them from all these outside causes. And we can't control everything in our environment. We can do the best we can, but we can't control all of it. So when it gets out of control and oxidative stress increases, that's when on the left, you see it start attacking every single area of the body. So like I said, each area of the body composes the whole body and they're all related together. So if you have a problem with one area of the body, everything else is out of whack as well. And as you can see, oxidative stress touches every single organ and part, and there's actually 200 diseases, more than 200, that are related to oxidative stress. So it's really important to keep it under control. When science looks at lowering oxidative stress, we know that there's antioxidants found in food that are important for fighting free radicals. But what they've also found is that our cells have antioxidants that are way more powerful than the ones that we found in our food. So those ones from the cell are actually called primary internal antioxidants. And they come from our internal defense system that God equipped our body with. And the top 3 antioxidants are called SOD, catalase, and glutathione. And if you start researching about them, it's amazing what they can do in the body, and that there's every area of the body actually composes them. So when science talks about helping a certain area of the body be better in function, they actually talk about increasing SOD, catalase, and glutathione. So it's super cool how that works with our body's own mechanism. So there was a doctor that he's a biochemist, worked out of the University of Colorado, Denver. He wanted to find a way to naturally increase these antioxidants. And why was because these antioxidants actually drop in production in our cells by 60% as we age or as we increase toxic overload. That can happen at any period in life, even when you're young. So when we have less of these antioxidants, more dysfunction starts to happen because our oxidative stress is just going through the roof. So, sorry, just had to admit someone to the meeting. Okay, so as as the oxidative stress rises, we need more of these antioxidants to be functioning, and the doctor realized he's got to turn them on naturally. So he started experimenting with herbs because he knew that herbs were good for the body and good for our antioxidants, but he thought he could possibly turn on this NRF2 pathway that produces these antioxidants, and he actually found the right combination to do so. And he called it Protandim NRF2 because it turns on the NRF2 pathway in the body. So when that pathway turned on, they found that it lowered oxidative stress by an average of 40% in 30 days. And that is because those antioxidants were functioning. So you can see how much they were increased, even glutathione up to 300%. And at that time, the National Institute on Aging did a study on Protandim and said that they found it to be the only dietary supplement proven to extend life in male mice. That's a significant claim. And Protandim was, at that time in 2004 or 5, when it was starting to be produced, it was being manufactured by a health company called LifeVantage that took it over from the doctor. And in the 5 herbs that are put into Protandim, there's a very special ratio. LifeVantage makes sure that every single batch of Protandim has the exact ratio, because if it gets slightly off, it actually won't turn on the cell function like it should. So even if you're eating these ingredients in your own life, in your diet and supplementation, it doesn't do the same. Activation is totally different than supplementation, and Protandim actually activates. So the company actually wants to make sure that in the ingredients you don't have toxins either, because it's doing the opposite of what they want to do for the body. So they test all the ingredients, every batch, to make sure there are no toxins. It's even better than the organic level. It's called BSCG and NSF certified at the Olympian level. So why does Protandim work so well at lowering oxidative stress? Well, when you eat antioxidants from our foods, whether it be blueberries or oranges, it takes so many more antioxidants from those to eradicate free radicals, because they only eradicate at a 1-to-1 ratio, versus when activated through Protandim, the antioxidants in our cells are able to eradicate 1 to 1 million free radicals. That's how it's able to keep up with the oxidative stress so well. So here's a graph from the study that was done on Protandim. And you can see the individual ingredients at the bottom of what is in Protandim, the ashwagandha, bacopa, green tea, curcumin, and each one of them on how they actually affect oxidative stress and actually turn on and off gene expression. They didn't have very significant effect, but together in Protandim, there was an 18-fold increase in expression of this antioxidant gene. So the NRF2 antioxidant gene had 18 times more effectiveness with Protandim synergy than by itself. And that's why it's significant in taking Protandim. So with all these medical claims, ABC Primetime came on the scene and said, wait a minute, why is medicine making this medical claim? How can LifeVantage say this? And they wanted to do their own live TV tests on Protandim to make sure that it did what they say it did, and notify people if it was a hoax or snake oil. So John Quinones from ABC Primetime went on live television, had his before and after blood taken. Before taking Protandim and after, there was a 2-week span. And after 2 weeks, they found that his oxidative stress was actually lowered by 45% in 2 weeks, which is actually in half the time that the medical studies claimed it did. He was so amazed that now John Quinones is actually still with his family taking Protandim. After that ABC primetime aired, there was so much media coverage on the television and online that was done about Protandim with several different well-known sources, Dr. Phil, PBS, the Wall Street Journal, and at that time they came up with a whole bunch of patents as well because the media was just talking about it so much, and they really became established as a company. But since they were small, they really couldn't keep up with the demand that people had. And after everything was sold out, nobody was able to buy it anymore for a while because they were trying to remanufacture it, and they actually had a bit of a financial letdown with the company. And their financial advisors told them, what you need to do to have the best marketing and best financial success to be able to get it into the hands of the people is to have person-to-person friendship sharing of Protandim for people to tell people, eliminate the middleman of the stores and the pharmacies to cut the costs down. And now Protandim is sold straight from the company to the person at their home. And people in the middle are just sharing and distributing and telling people about it. So it's really cool because Protandim is actually so much cheaper than it used to be on pharmacy shelves. So after all this publicization of Protandim came out, a lot of independent research started happening in peer-reviewed studies that were published in journals. You can actually find 26 of them now on pubmed.gov online. And that is the national medical research website where everything is published into. And what's cool about peer-reviewed is that companies or medical institutes or hospitals that actually put their own money into research, and it's not the company doing the research themselves. So some cool places that you'll probably recognize that have done research: National Institute on Aging, like I mentioned, also Harvard University, American Heart Association, and actually Johns Hopkins and Mayo Clinic as well. So we've got some fabulous research that you'll want to check out. So like I said, you go to pubmed.com, type in Protandim, and it'll come up with 26 hits on Protandim. One of the studies that was done showed how Protandim actually affects gene expression. So you have your genes, and they're all fluctuating in expression. Some of them way too low, some of them way too high, and they should be regulated like this, even expression. So this is what happened with NRF2. It dropped down to that even level. This example of overexpression of fibrotic scar tissue formation in vital organs drop down to normal level, and also different inflammatory markers drop down. It's just amazing how it regulates everything in our genes, because we know that all of our genes are able to be regulated by our lifestyle choices, and this is just another way to make sure that we are having the best health possible. So Washington State University came out with this statement on NRF2 in one of their studies of NRF2 pathways. It says, NRF2 may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. And when we're talking about therapeutic, we're talking about getting the best health of the body possible, but also as a preventative to have the best health for as long as we can. And when the Multiple Sclerosis Journal went to go study Protandim, they had a drug that they thought was really good for MS. It was their best drug called BG12 that you can see here at the top. And they compared it against a whole other assortment of drugs, spent $50 million on this study, and Protandim was one of them that they included in the study. At the end, they said, interestingly, Protandim, a dietary supplement consisting of herbal ingredients, was the most potent inducer and therefore the most suited as a therapeutic strategy over all their synthetic drugs, Protandim came out on top. The American Heart Association, down at the bottom, says Protandim prevented fibrosis and capillary loss and preserved RV function despite continued pressure overload. So when there's pressures going on in our body, the antioxidants in our cells that are produced actually help create a resiliency of our body, that even though there's continued abuse, that your body can be as resilient to not decay and degenerate because of the continued pressures. So it's really important to have the most resilient body possible, but also take other natural steps to have the best heart health as possible as well. And then Louisiana State University did a really cool study. They took Protandim, the tablet, and crushed it up and put it in a cream and started applying it to the skin. And as you can see here in the quote from that study, says these results revealed that Protandim reduced tumor incidence by 33% and multiplicity by 57% for tumors on skin carcinogenesis. And in the study, they found that compared to retinol, NRF2 facial cream after 7 days, you can see here on the right with the two pictures, after 7 days, NRF2 cream had so much more even layers in the skin, and it wasn't all jumbled up. It actually helped perfect the skin layering. So wrinkles and aging actually tightens up and looks so much better when activating with NRF2. So NRF2 has now been applied to the brain as well. Our brain has a blood-brain barrier, and that barrier keeps our brain safe, but it also makes it harder for Protandim NRF2 to actually activate the neurological areas of the brain. So they were able to put Protandim NRF2 into a really cool drink called Axio. And why they call it Smart Energy is because it activates pathways of the brain that actually produce energy, mental clarity, cognition, and they found that like memory is improved, so many brain functions, being able to focus, and just overall the brain working so much better. And you can see here on the right, there was a neuroscientist that does EEG readings of the brain before and after, and he had the patients take NRF2 and NRF1, which is another Protandim we'll talk about, and Axio. And you can see their brain function normalizing from the before and after. The jumbled up colors are not normal, and the uniform colors are normal. So it's a really cool video. If you'd like that link, let me know. Or whoever invited you to this meeting, they can get that to you. So with kids, they've actually found that their writing improved after 2 weeks of using Axio. Just overall focus and an ability to just process things. The kid was coloring better too. So it is really amazing what it can do, and the doctor was monitoring this, so it's a real true before and after of what it can do in children. And with the continued study that LifeVantage has done on cell pathways, they came across another pathway that they wanted to try to activate that's super important in the body, and it is called NAD, and it deals with something called sirtuins. So sirtuins is a really complicated word, but they do a lot of cool things. And they regulate inflammatory response in the body, the p53 gene, which is actually a gene that controls tumor expression in the body, the cell cycle, making sure the new cells are being produced in the body, but the old cells are dying off at the proper time. If a cell lives too long, it can actually become dysfunctional and diseased. So you want it dying at the proper time. And sometimes with supplementation of different things, we may be fortifying cells that live too long. But the cool thing about activation is that the body's own control of when it wants a cell to die is increased. So that's called apoptosis, which is listed here. DNA repair and telomere activity. Telomeres are really important for longevity. The longer your telomeres are, the longer that you'll live. So protecting them is very important. So with sirtuins, they need something called NAD in order to function. And with sirtuins and NAD, they found that that function does decrease, just like Nrf2, by 60% as we age. So they wanted to turn that back on. And instead of supplementing NAD, as there are some sources out there to do that, they wanted to activate the body's own NAD. And they experimented with herbs and found a way to have a certain ratio and synergy of herbs that does improve the cell function. So when that happens, we have much more longevity from those telomeres. Cellular cleanup with autophagy is improved mental focus and concentration, better mood and motivation, mental and physical energy is increased. I've had so many people say they have much more energy when using this with the other protandems. And also cholesterol is affected as well to maintain that in a healthy range. So it's really important to have this area of the cell activated. Here's just a couple other things, like we talked about inflammation, cholesterol levels. Your liver and heart and vascular function are also related to the NAD function. Supports your joint health and muscle recovery. If you feel like you love outdoor activities like myself, I want to not be super sore for a long time afterwards, but have my recovery of my muscles be better than it should be. Mental and physical energy increases with the ATP from our mitochondria, better mental focus again, and mitochondria function and repair is increased, which we're going to be talking about more. So caloric restriction with having just a couple hundred calories per day has been shown to increase sirtuin function, but it's actually not very healthy for the body because you get depleted nutrients. Your bones are at risk, and so many other things in the body are at risk, and even our brain. So you want to make sure to have enough calories throughout the day to sustain the body on a general basis. A little bit of fasting is good for the body, but not as a very long-term plan. So the cool thing about Protandim is that they found it to be intermittent fasting in a bottle because it increases sirtuin activity higher than caloric restriction was found to do. And that's while you're eating, which is amazing. So you have that to have every day. And then with, like I said, you can supplement NAD instead of activate it, but the function at 24 hours of NAD was only 2% with supplementation. So that shows how important it is to activate versus supplement. And with the third and last cell pathway that we're going to talk about, it's called NRF1 and the mitochondria theory of aging. Mitochondria are our powerhouse and our engine of the cell, and our body is actually 95% of the energy comes from our mitochondria directly. So you can imagine if you're low on energy, you might have something going wrong with your mitochondria because they just can't keep up. So it's important to address their health properly. So just like oxidative stress, there's a lot of diseases related to that. Mitochondrial dysfunction actually has just as many diseases related to them. So both of them working together helps really fortify the body for having proper health. So a lot of people ask, how do I get mitochondrial dysfunction and what causes it? There's a lot of things. I'm just going to talk about a couple here. Toxicological, can't even say it, sciences has an article that says a lot of environmental toxins come into play in creating mitochondria dysfunction. Heavy metals that we can get from a lot of places. It's actually amazing how many heavy metals we can be exposed to today. Pesticides that we're breathing, pharmaceuticals also mess up our mitochondria, chemotherapy does, and many other things. So even if you're healthy, your mitochondria can still be out of whack because of the things that you're exposed to every day. So LifeVantage wanted to also address that factor of the body and the NRF1 pathway that helps our mitochondria be as healthy as possible. So when they activate it with herbs, just like they did before, they found that it enhances the functioning of the existing mitochondria and stimulated production of new mitochondria. So you can have more mitochondria than you already have today. And the cool thing about that is that just like cleaning your house, the more people you have, the faster it goes. The more healthy mitochondria you have, the faster the cleaning of the body goes. You can also limit the effect of cellular aging. So the cleanup of the cells happens faster, they don't age as fast. Telomere protection happens, brain and cognitive health is supported, sleep quality is improved. So many people have said that when they've activated NRF1, their sleep quality improved. And that's because while you're sleeping, you're cleaning out your body. So the cleaning is happening more efficiently. Supports your healthy circulatory and cardiovascular system. And of course, the ATP comes from mitochondria, so our cellular energy is increased. One cool article about mitochondria said that mitochondria can be the powerhouse of immunity as well as the powerhouse of our cell. We want our immunity at top quality no matter what time of the year we're at. So make sure that your mitochondria are behind and backing that healthy immunity as well. So when you activate all three pathways together, per tandem can be taken individually, but LifeVantage wanted to see what all three together, all three pathways activated, what it could do. And this is the response that they found. I'm just going to bring up these percentages. All three different gene pathways and cell pathways of the body were activated at a much higher percentage than each one of them alone. So it's really cool when people are asking me, does Protandim really work? I tell them, yes, 100% in everyone. Even if you can't feel it, it is working. But all three of them together, because it's such a higher percentage, it actually does a faster work because more things are working properly in the body. If you have a car and you have a tire that's broken, it's not going to go very fast anywhere. So when you have multiple areas that need to be activated, the car runs much better. And in general, a rule of thumb is to allow 1 month per decade of life to allow your body time to start the cleaning process. So if you're older, you've had a lot more abuse and longer time, it does take longer to start to have the health changes. So here's some examples of some health changes people have had. You can see some visual examples. My mom on the right, that's her hands. She couldn't bend her fingers very well, especially her middle fingers, and now she's able to completely flex them, which is amazing for being able to just have normal housework easier and working in the kitchen. So she's really happy about that. Like I said, Louisiana State University put Protandim in a cream, and so now we do have a skincare line that is helping people with their skin. You can see, like I said, the wrinkles are starting to tighten up, and skin is smoothing out. So it's just amazing what it can do topically. And also topically, people have, when they're aging, sometimes aging affects the hair as well. So the cool thing is there is an NRF2 formula for the hair that LifeVantage has to stimulate the hair follicle itself to lower its oxidative stress. And people have had amazing results not only with aging, but the cool thing is that just the hair in general can have better smoothness, less frizz, a healthier quality look to the hair, fuller and thicker. And it's actually all natural. There's no bad chemicals that normally come, and even healthy natural hair cares can have bad chemicals. So it's cool that this one is rated really clean on the Think Dirty app. And so is the skincare. A lot of people care about their animals. I love my animals, and they have a pet tandem for dogs, but it's for mammals in general. So depending on the size of the animal, whether it's a small cat or a dog or a horse, something bigger, you can have different dosages for them. And they've seen amazing results in animals because they have a much higher oxidative stress because they're burning through their lifespan faster than a human. So you can see here just a cool example of a dog's skin improving. And one last area of the body that I'd like to talk about is our gut. 80% of your immunity is in your gut. And in order to have a really high functioning and healthy gut, we need a natural balance of our microbiome and the healthy bacteria in the right places. If an overgrowth of the wrong bacteria goes to the wrong place, you don't want that happening. So you want a healthy balance of many strains. And it's cool with the LifeVantage probiotic, they wanted to address the issue that a lot of probiotics don't actually survive the stomach acid and don't get to the gut itself. And a lot of times when you buy a probiotic, it's already dead because heat, moisture, and air all kill probiotics. And a lot of probiotics have a harsh, not healthy chemical coating on them. So this one is actually really safe and healthy because it's a freeze-dried natural powder that's put around the probiotic enzymes, and then that powder dissolves at different levels of pH, so it doesn't dissolve until it gets to the small and large intestine to deliver the enzymes there. And there's actually a 60% increase in the level of enzymes that arrive from this probiotic versus a lot of other ones on the market. So skin is affected by the gut, your brain is affected by the gut, your immunity. If your gut isn't correct in function, then your whole life and energy levels aren't either. So it's really awesome. There's actually over 1,200 medical professionals that realize the research of LifeVantage and want to put it into the life and health of people in their lives and their patients, and they're telling so many people about it. And the number is increasing every day of medical professionals and doctors realizing how much people need this for their health. So when we're sharing this information, we want it to be information that fits what you have for goals. Some people just have the goal of improving their own health and just dealing with a couple things that might be going on. But other people say, I can think of others that I could share it with, and you're welcome to refer them to someone that is sharing the information, or you can join as a distributor to actually share yourself. And a lot of people do say, if I want to take the products, maybe I can't afford them myself. How do I actually cut back the costs of my own product usage? And becoming a distributor is a cool way to do that because you can get started and be able to earn back some of the money that you're putting into the products yourself. So to get paid to be able to be a distributor, there's different ways that you get paid, and some of those are Smart Start bonuses. When you share with others, you get 30 to 40% of their first purchase back. You get launch bonuses of when you add on other distributors that want to share with others the health information. Your team starts growing. It starts becoming more profitable as you continue to share, and it starts growing. You also get paid monthly. Every single month, you get royalty commissions that continue to grow. And a lot of people have residual bills, so why not have a residual income? It's just such a cool thing to have as a side income and be able to fall back on it if something was to ever happen to your plan A of an income. You get generational matching bonuses for investing in the people that you're helping train in. And the company actually has something really cool at the top elite ranks where you get to uh, you get to have part of the income of all the sales in the company be able to come to their distributors at the elite ranks. So it's really cool. They're investing in the people that want to work for LifeVantage. Everybody has a different goal for income, whether it be just covering your products. Maybe for some, they may say, I need to help get some money for my groceries. If you want to eat healthier, if you want to go organic, it takes money. And some people just need just couple $100 to be able to do so. Some people need help with their rent. And some people, when they're wanting to help their health, they don't have time because of their crazy work schedule to be able to have time to work on their health. So they need more of a side income to be able to provide another way to earn income, have a different job scenario, and work on their health. And for others, which I'm seeing more and more people in this category, they have a work environment that's toxic to their health. Whether that's stress, way too many hours, night shifts, employees that are not easy to work with, increasing your stress. There's so much with stress that affects your health. And there's also people that are exposed to toxic chemicals at work. And if that's you, it's really important that people have options to be able to have the best health possible. So Pro 3 rank in this company is where you can start supplementing different bills in your life. Pro 5 level is a level where some people say a spouse can come home from work, be able to focus on the family and have more time at home. And Pro 7 is where usually both spouses are able to come home and leave work. So it's really great that this company has so many resources to be able to help people with whatever goals they do have for their life. And if you do decide to join in sharing the information about these products, it's a really cool meld because right now everything is going to our laptops and our cell phones, especially with everyone coming home from work and school. So social sharing is increasing, social media usage is increasing. We don't have physical locations or assets or inventory that you have to keep in your garage. You can do it from anywhere that you want. And there's an online shopping portal where the customers get it straight from the company. When you're joining a company, you want to make sure that you join at the right time. And with LifeVantage, it is the right time because 99.95% of the US and Canada have never joined LifeVantage. They've never heard about it. So it's early on. The company is still in the early stages of growth. The wellness industry has had a 60% increase in the last 8 years. So it's a great industry because people want to improve their health naturally. And there's actually over 220 studies published on oxidative stress, and it's still growing. So it's a topic that science is looking at and doing more and more research. And when you join, you want to join before the critical mass and momentum. So right now, we're at the early stages of growth, and they say it's best to join in the first 150,000 distributors per country. We don't even have that in the whole entire world, and though we're a part of many countries. So we're still in the early stages of when it's a great time to join. With corporate LifeVantage, there's some cool things going on. We got a new new CEO, and he's on the board of directors for the direct selling industry. So he is a very knowledgeable man that is definitely directing this company um, with great accomplishments in the last couple years. So some of those accomplishments are that we received the top 11 best places to work honor for the third year in a row in the direct selling industry. So it's one of the best companies that you could ever find in the industry. We had Erin Brockovich join our personal board of directors as well. And Erin loves to have the best quality for health possible. And she has found that LifeVantage attains to the standards that she wants for health and for products that people are taking. LifeVantage got awarded the Stevie Award for the best new product for our hair care system. Very well recognized in the American businesses. We expanded our product line, adding NAD back in October. And we have had an increase in revenue and started allowing free shipping for all subscriptions, which is awesome because free shipping is becoming very popular for Amazon and all these different companies starting to get on board with free shipping. So it's an awesome aspect of LifeVantage for customers to save money. We rang the NASDAQ bell, recognized there with the direct selling industry. And now we're open in 16 markets, 19 countries with our products. And with the way social media connects us around the world, it's easy to have markets in multiple countries and being able to share this information. So just for 7 more days of April, if that's you that you want to share this information with others, whether casually or building a business for yourself, you're definitely welcome to ask questions about how that works. And we have free enrollment with LifeVantage to the end of April. So it's a great $50 savings to be able to get your website started and be able to start sharing. So great opportunity. And if that's not you, you just want more information about the products and just want to learn more and study and research, we would love to share with you about this great product opportunity to activate your cells. So I hope that was helpful information to you and a blessing, and that even if it's not for you, that it can help someone that you know, because every person deserves the best lifespan and health span. So just going to close out here. Okay, we're going to stop the recording. Thank you all for joining.